Crystal's actually reminded me that there is another major inspiration for CodeSpells, which was the Dark Crystal, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Um, we should pull up some Dark Crystal media, but yeah, I assume this is also something you would have seen as a kid, right? I don't remember exactly when it came out, but
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was an '80s movie, right? And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the aesthetic, right? Is Maxfield Parrish doing the Dark Crystal a little bit? It's kind of the aesthetic of Code Spells, because yeah, the Dark Crystal just, to me, that is a complete vision. Like Jim Henson's vision for the Dark Crystal is like complete. Like it's so aesthetically its own thing. It doesn't look like anything else. And if it does, it's because they're trying to imitate it, you know? And then a lot of it has to do with the puppets, but it's also the environment, the creatures, the ambient life in the world. Like when they're walking across the landscape, there's all these little plants and creatures reacting to them and stuff. And that to me is what's so amazing about it. Like, and that also feels very video gamey, right? Like, you know, when they're climbing around on the cliffs in the Dark Crystal and all the little anemone plants like scatter and go into the rocks, and you're like, ooh, I see, they reacted to him. And that's like a very video game type thing where like the world is reacting to the player. And so I always thought it was like a good analog, and just it's kind of a fresh aesthetic a little bit too.
yeah. So okay, so then all right. So born in a coal mining town, learned to paint on your own, D&D covers, BioWare, God of Blades, and then after that, was Code Spells the next thing after God of Blades? I can't remember actually.
No, so God of Blades like was a financial failure, we'll say. Well, it was a breaking even kind of situation. And that's fine. Like once again, like it's funny, like God of Blades was like such a long process and like so many hours working, just like insane days, like just 8 in the morning till 3 in the morning making that game almost every day for like a year. I mean, it was just not healthy at all. And you could ask Adrian. But, you know, like we didn't know what the payoff would be. And it just turned out that the payoff was the experience that we got from it, right? Like we learned so much about making video games from it. And we didn't get any money for it. And so we had to then figure out what we were going to do next. And we worked on a couple of small indie projects, but we were not driving them. We were working for other people. And we worked on a game called, Adrian and I both worked on a couple of games with Tiger style games, and they were great to work with, super fun. And then yeah, we came to visit you to teach a workshop, and we decided to work on code spells.
That's right.
And
I forgot. I forgot it was just an educational, like you were just coming to teach some kids how to make games basically. And it was
yep.
just in our off time we're like, "Hey, I'm doing code spells for my PhD, but it looks like crap. I don't know. What do y'all think we could do with it?" and then and Lindsay was there and she's like, "Oh, well, we could do a Kickstarter or something like that."
Yeah. I mean, that was just so crazy. That is just one of my favorite memories. That workshop, being in San Diego, doing the Kickstarter video, and then I remember being at my sister's house in Boston and watching the Kickstarter take off and being like, "Oh, this is real now." Like, now we have to make this game. Like, like, people really do want this.
Yeah, I know it
And
really
that was
resonated,
crazy.
and I think it resonated a lot because of your art. So even going into the Kickstarter, you had already done like a significant amount of design work. And I guess I'd like to know, like, maybe for my own personal like growth as a designer, like, what I don't know. I know this is cliche, but like, what's your process? You know, but like, what do you do first when you're coming up with something new like this?
Well, you know, I think we were at a difficult time in video games where we were reaching for something that was very ambitious. And in my mind, and I think in all of our minds, we're like, we can totally do this. Like this totally makes sense. And you know, we did do it. But the amount of work it takes to generate content is immense. And I think now coming up with a game like CodeSpells is very different than when we did it, because when we did it, a procedural open world was a pretty new-ish kind of idea. Like obviously Minecraft was,
Minecraft is
you
the
know,
one we kept like going back to. It's like, okay,
yeah,
we're making Minecraft, but not voxels. It's magic, and like it was definitely our major inspiration. I feel like.
yeah, definitely. And I think that's sort of like, you know, a lot of it is starting with an idea that is already exists and trying to either like reverse engineer it or think about what you like about it and how you could extract what you like out of it and turn it into something else. You're always stealing stuff. It's like you have to. Everybody does it. It's not a you're not, it's not like you just wake up and you're like, I see the whole thing.